Hey YouTube, so I'm just quickly trying to make a video about one of the best teaching styles called it's a teaching style called teaching proficiency through reading and storytelling. It's known as TPRS, and it was invented by Blaine Ray, and it's one of the most fun, one of the best ways to teach English as a foreign language because it really allows the students to get engaged with the learning, to act out, to not be thinking about grammatical things, but rather just having fun, staying focused, and from my experience, this works really, 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 really well with students of all ages, high school, college level, and middle school. I haven't tried at the elementary school level, but I'm sure that with the right teacher and the right props, it would be just perfect. So, to make it quick, here is a story that I wrote about one of my experiences in Colombia when I first got there. It's kind of like a funny cultural story. I won't read it. I'll let you pause the video and read it just so you can see how it goes. But what I did was I took the time to highlight the key vocabulary, and then in the next slide, I walked through each translation. And in this style, it is okay to translate for the students. It actually helps. It makes the learning a lot faster. Here are some questions that we'll get back to. But the real learning starts here when I'm explaining what happens in the story. So, as you all saw in that first slide, I had the whole text, right? Don't expect students to be able to understand the text just as it is. You really have to use pictures, props, gestures, just some way to convey the semantic part of the story. So here, as you can see, it says, one day a crazy boy from the United States goes to Bogota, Colombia. And here is a picture I took of me doing a Spartan race with an arrow of going to Bogota. This particular part is because I was teaching in Colombia. So this really helps the students build their background knowledge. I'm using references to the Colombian culture to then help them teach English, right? So I'm using me as the teacher as a prop and the capital of the country they're from. So it works out nicely. Here I am explaining, how I felt to see Colombia for the first time, and for the first time is one of those key phrases that I wanted to learn. And then, just using pictures and things they're really used to. The students are able to put meaning together as I read across. So I'm just going to flip through the next slides just so you can see how I kind of laid them out. So again, just using pictures and text as well as gestures. But let's go back to these questions. Okay. So after I walk through the questions, the sentences with pictures, after walking the students through the story, by now they at least have pictures to align to the words, and they can sequence what happened. They have probably 60% gist of what happened. So now, using this methodology is when you're going to engage the students in the questions, right? You're going to ask them, who's the protagonist? For Spanish speakers, it's really easy because protagonist is a cognate to Spanish, right? Protagonista or protagonist. They're both the same thing. And you can ask, where's the protagonist from? Why does the problem occur? If you were following the text, you would see the problem. You could say, how does he react to the tinto, right? I used react because the verb to react in Spanish is a cognate to our English word react. And then I made the questions personal. There's a part in the text where the boy gets mad, and then so I asked my students, hey, do you get mad? And then we spent time focusing on that get plus adjective form, like to get happy, to get sad, to get mad. And then since we were talking about coffee, I was just interviewing my students, asking them, hey, do you like coffee? Have you been to Bogota? Do you like Bogota? Just so you can really build that connection with your students so that you can keep them engaged and make sure they have a good time. After, I put the text up in front of them, and I chose about 3 volunteers and had them stand up. I had props. I had some fancy Oakley sunglasses and my travel bag that I used to look really gringo, to look like the US dude there. And I had my students actually, one as the narrator, one as the waiter, and one acting as me, the protagonist of the story. And I actually had them just act out the story, just so that we could see. It works as formative assessment, just so we could see whether or not the students really got it. And after doing it the first time, the second group of students that did it, by then the students were already taking out their cell phones, recording it, and it became more of a comedic show than it became actual sitting down intensely learning the grammar. So after repeating the story 2 or 3 times and the inquiry-based PQA, this lesson, it lasted an hour, it had lasting memories, and it really, really, really helped the students feel as if they could learn English without using much Spanish. Okay. So again, this method is called TPRS. It's teaching proficiency through reading and storytelling, and it is by far one of the best ways to teach a foreign language because it's 100% context and immersion in the target language. If you have any questions or you want any more videos, just hit subscribe and let me know in the comment feed if you want any more. I'm always willing to improvise and create new videos because I'm trying to do this. I love it. Teachers need to share with each other. So if you guys have any ideas or you know of any cool videos that you want me to see, just share them. Thanks so much.